Sometimes I forget that too.
All right, and I'll just share my screen and we will get going. Hello, I'm Cassandra. I am the one who's been bombarding your email, and I'm the grant coordinator for Innovate Bio. And then here's our agenda for the evening, if I'm sharing the right screen. Yeah, okay. And I'll let Dion take it away for introductions for Innovate Bio. Then Tamika will speak for Bio-Rad, and of course, Betsy will speak for the Center of Plant and Life Sciences.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dion Kripa, and I work together with Cassandra and Linnea. I am the program manager with the Innovate Bio grant here in Austin at Austin Community College. And Innovate Bio, this pre-webinar and the advanced PCR techniques workshops in St. Louis next month are all funded by the National Science Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, greetings all. My name is Tamika Stubbs, and I like to say I'm a recovering teacher of 17 years. Did lots of things with my students, including research, and attended lots of cool workshops like the one being sponsored here. Well, currently, and for the last decade, essentially, I have been on board with Bio-Rad Laboratories. And if you guys aren't familiar with Bio-Rad Laboratories, it's a global constituency that provides tons of reagents and equipment to researchers and clinical diagnostics group. And I'm a part of a sweet part of the life science group, this little, I would say, slice of heaven called the education group, the Bio-Ed Explorer group. And we get to have an amazing time with you educators, right? So we get to translate a lot of those big level concepts that come out of those two major divisions and share it using the know-how that we do as previous educators. So I'm not only along for the ride for the pre-webinar today, I will be by your side in July, and I'm really excited to meet and greet all of you.
I did not know that about you, Tamika. This is great. I look forward to working with you more. Hi, everybody. My name is Betsy Bodeker, and I am the District Director for the Center for Plant and Life Sciences, which will be the small satellite campus that will be hosting you when you guys all travel to St. Louis in a couple of weeks. You'll be right down the street from our center. We are actually embedded within an industry building, and we have several working laboratory spaces here, which is where we'll be doing our lab exercises throughout that week. I have been kind of entrenched with qPCR for many years now. And the years I spent in industry, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of qPCR for measuring RNA interference results. And working with customers, educating them on how to use our very expansive and technical product lines, including a lot of the qPCR reagents, and actually got to go to Germany and attend a week-long training with Michael Kubista, which was really a highlight for me. And I definitely look forward to working with each and every one of you in a couple of weeks, and then following up with you following that training that we'll be doing here in St. Louis. And, you know, I'm a resource, and everybody on this call is going to be a resource for you. So we want you to explore and definitely engage and use some qPCR technology and to learn as much as you can while you're here.
This is you, Betsy. Sorry.
This is me, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So one of the things that we're trying to find out from you guys, I know what we taught at this workshop a couple of years ago. We kind of want to cater it a little bit more to your specific interests in this area. And so we're doing this to kind of help you implement some qPCR and use of qPCR technology in your classes and programs. And so we want to know why you're taking this workshop, what techniques you are interested in learning about? What are your overall goals? And what is it that you expect to get out of this training and hope to achieve at the end of it? And so, we're very interested in those pieces from you, so that we can help customize this a little bit more for some of the specifics that you might be more interested in. I can teach whatever. And I mean, I do a qPCR class here for our biotech program students, and then they have no choice in what I teach them. But we talk about everything from copy number to gene expression. And so there are some real niches in there that, depending on what it is you're interested in learning about, we only have those, basically 3 days with you. And so we definitely want you to get as much out of it as possible. And so whatever you can provide to help us cater to your interests will be implemented in what we deliver. How was that, Cassandra?
Perfect.
Okay.
And to kind of add on to that, if that's okay, we know that as educators, sometimes a lot of this can seem a little overwhelming, right? Especially when you're approaching something very new and something that's extremely high level. So we applaud you for your effort in being here first and foremost. But the goal, as Betsy indicated, is for us to be a resource, all of us to you in the different roles that we play, to help, mitigate any potential hurdles that you might come across, and some of these advanced techniques. To help you to establish a background. I know it's kind of super fast paced and everything, but to give you adequate background and conceptual kind of know-how so that you feel confident, a little bit more confident than you did, coming in as you were leaving. And just remember, you'll have ongoing support and resources through us all when it's all said and done.
And if I could add to that, Tamika, in relating that with the goals of the center, in creating and advancing the education of highly skilled technicians for the nation's biotechnology workforce. Another goal of this workshop is to develop a collaborative infrastructure supporting innovation and providing professional development for instructors. So we hope that the hands-on practices you take away from this workshop will provide you with additional resources that can easily transfer to your classroom and increase the overall student learning.
So I think this slide's me and Betsy. So Betsy can
Okay.
go a little bit more about the topics. I've got more of like the logistic sides of like our start time, end time. So I've got those listed here. We'll be sending out a more detailed agenda before you guys take off for your travels. But we do hope that everybody can join us on Sunday because we are going to have a dinner, kind of get to know you, and then we're going to have some fun PCR games and a pipetting competition that Betsy will talk about more later. We're going to have a charter that will take you to and from the lab each day. So we just ask that you be in the lobby, ready to go, and Dion will help you get to where you need to go. And we're ending at 2 p.m. so everybody can take off and get home that day. And I'll pass it to you, Betsy, for the topics that we're going to be talking about.
Okay. See, it's good. You're just going to have to tell me what I need to jump in on because I zone out and I'm listening and I'm like, oh, it's a bird. So some of the topics, obviously, we're going to be spending a lot of time talking and doing quantitative PCR. And so you've all hopefully fulfilled that requirement of attending some of the BioRad University stuff where they kind of give you some of the basics of qPCR in those online seminars. We are going to venture just briefly into droplet digital PCR, which is basically the new evolution of qPCR, in my opinion, and probably BioRad people would agree with me on this. While qPCR is typical in terms of it's a full volume, you've got all your reaction in one tube. One of the beauties of ddPCR is that it eliminates the requirement to do replicates because it actually, using the proprietary oil and their digital droplet maker, it actually takes a 20 microliter reaction volume and generates 20,000 single nanoliter droplets that are independently assessed using the detector following PCR. ddPCR is actually endpoint, but it is also quantitative. So it's a very interesting technology to learn about, and we definitely want to always push you guys a little bit. We don't expect you guys to have a ddPCR machine, but it would be kind of fun for you guys, I think, to just kind of push that envelope a little bit and explore, how you set up a ddPCR, what the results look like. It's very much flow cytometry data. So the detector is definitely flow cytometry, reads a single droplet at a time and compiles that information in histograms. So we're going to definitely be playing with that a little bit. And then, a lot of it, we're going to talk about standard curves, the benefits of things like master mixes. Not only, looking at the standard curves and using the software on the BioRad instruments in order to generate those standard curves for you, but if you don't have a BioRad, how you could export that data and generate it yourself. How to do some of the data analysis if we forage into the gene expression portion, which is really my areas of expertise. I've done a lot of gene expression. It's some of the data analysis methods that are out there and why you would pick one over the other, what type of detection chemistry you need to use, and what kind of data analysis, what that's going to look like. And then we're going to have some application talks from at least a couple folks through BioRad. I'm also trying to scare up some people to give at least one talk locally here that uses qPCR or digital droplet. I was really hoping that we were going to get somebody from the St. Louis Zoo. They use it for detection of an elephant virus. They use qPCR for that. And unfortunately, he's going to be on vacation that week, so he will not be able to talk. But we do also have a Danforth, next door, we've got the Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, and we do have a tour arranged for you guys to just walk across the parking lot and see what kinds of exciting things are happening on plant research right next door to us. And then we just have lots of fun things planned for you over those days. And I will say that she has not sold it correctly. The PCR games is supposed to be super fun PCR games. And so, that's what I call it. I don't know if it's actually reality or not, but I think it's super fun. So we'll see. I guess the jury will be you guys on that one.
I will make sure to correct the agenda in the future to include the super fun part. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if there was anything else I was supposed to say there.
I think that was great. So we're
Okay.
actually going to ask you guys a few questions now. I'm going to launch a couple of polls. Please feel free to unmute and answer it loud or put your thoughts in the chat while you answer the poll, and we can just have kind of an open discussion on some of these things. So our first poll, see if I can do two things at once. Oh, no, that's not it. 1 second. I can't do two things at once. It has shown to not be true. Okay, hold on. Relaunch. Okay. Does everybody see the poll now? Perfect.
Yes, we can see it. Thank you, Cassandra.
So I'll give you a couple of minutes. I can see who has answered and who hasn't. Or not who has, but how many.
I'm answering too. I hope that's okay.
Of course. All right. That, I think, is going to be everybody. So I'm going to end the poll. Do we want to see the results? I can share them with the group.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, here's where we're at.
Cool.
That works. And then our next question. Let's see. Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. That's me not knowing how to do two things at once again. Second one. Stop that. And then let me launch the next one. Give you time to think about it before you see it.
We can see it.
Waiting on a couple more people. And of course, if anybody has a question about this specific topic, you can ask or if you want to discuss more. All right. Here's the results from that. This one's a bit more mixed than the previous one. Right. Should have included some Jeopardy music for this part. It's going on in my head, but I'll save you from. Oh, there's this. Sorry, there wasn't meant to be two questions on this one. Just answer the first question. You'll see the second question again. It's a little teaser. And then we'll call that one. Share the results. And then our fourth question. That one was quick. And for 5, we're changing it up. I think this one's Betsy's favorite question. All right. Betsy, I hope you weren't hoping this was going to help you decide on something.
That's interesting. You need to cover both.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's not helpful at all. Yeah, I think we can cover, I know somebody put in the chat, maybe covering a little bit of both, and I
Both.
think we can absolutely do that.
That's on par. And then our final question here. And I know we've talked about this in your application, and that was one part of how we considered who would be joining us to this, but we're going to ask it a few more times just to see if that changes as you go through the information. And all right, so I'm going to leave that poll open because I know it's kind of that one's kind of asking a lot, so we'll give time to think about that. Betsy, do you want to go into the pipetting exercise where we wait on that, or just want to give everybody a quiet 5 minutes?
Oh no, I could go in quiet. No way. We don't do quiet. So I just want to definitely, and I know other folks on the leadership here are going to chime in on this as well, but I think there's probably very few other technologies where the pipetting is as important as it is in qPCR. And so we definitely want to make sure that you guys are, I don't know, brushing up on your extraordinary pipetting skills that I'm sure you already have. But we want to definitely make sure that you are practicing and testing yourself to verify that you have outstanding skills, because this will help everything go much more smoothly. We'll get better data if we're all on the same playing field when it comes to those pipetting skills. And so one of the things that we're sharing with you guys is some pipetting exercises that you can do in order to kind of do that little bit of testing ahead of time and see where you might need a little bit of improvement or additional practice. We have a number of different formats that you can use for this. This is one that was using a 96 well plate where you're asked to pipette 10 microliters in 8 of those wells in that first row or column. I don't know. I call them rows, but then I'm frequently told that I'm wrong and that like A is a column and not a row, and that the rows are 12. I don't know. I just go back and forth on this. But you would be asked to pipette something multiple times, and this is for all of these 3 different volumes. We've got 10, 100, 300, and 2. And then you're going to weigh the plate before you start. You're going to weigh the plate at the end of every one of those additions. And then you're going to be able to calculate, after you do all the pipetting, you're going to be able to calculate your percent errors for each of these. I would expect higher error on the 2 microliter. I'm just saying, the smaller the volume, the higher the error. And I'm going to also add that for that 2 microliters in particular, you're going to need, I think, an analytical scale in order to complete that measurement accurately. I'm not sure that most of the top loaders are going to be sensitive enough. And so if you have an analytical, I'd say use the analytical. And then we're going to have a little fun pipetting competition at the dinner, and we'll have some, I think Biorad was going to bring some items, and I might bring some swag items from our center to contribute to prizes for the best pipetters. And so and this is all, to try and just kind of spearhead good skills so that when we walk in on Monday morning, we're all on the same playing field when it comes to the pipetting skills. And we might do a real minor pipetting exercise just to get everybody familiar with where things are in our lab spaces here. But mostly we're going to be curtailing the pipetting and asking you to do that independent of us, so that you walk in with great skills to begin with. I don't know if anybody has questions on that.
So I did put a shared Google folder in the chat. This has both Biorad's pipetting exercise and Betsy's pipetting exercise that she puts in her classes, and that we suggest you go through to practice and get ready for this competition. We will also be putting other information in this shared folder that you will have access to before, during, and after the workshop, so we can just kind of keep all of the resources we're throwing at you quickly all together.
Yeah.
Can I add something, Cassandra? And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought I'm Bryony, so I'm director of the BioRad Explorer program. And I was there. We did this workshop a couple of years ago, and I was there at the beginning, and I was really surprised at how surprised the participants were about the errors they were getting on their pipetting, because we all think that we're good at pipetting. We teach pipetting, but the precision that you need when you are doing qPCR is a level above what you might be used to. And that's why this is important to do the practice and to read the really precise, the information that you're getting on pipetting. There's tips that no one ever told me, but I kind of learned over the years. I was a scientist for many, many, many years. I kind of learned what that was, but having someone write it down and talk about residual things on your pipette tip and how to minimize this and things like that, it was very important. So I was surprised how surprised the participants were. And so
Yeah.
really, I wouldn't sit on your laurels and say, I know how to pipette, I don't need to practice. I would actually try some of these exercises and you may be surprised.
Yeah.
And if you do qPCR, your pipetting will be evident for the world to see how good or bad you are at pipetting. So it's good to practice. So then, you are a model for your students.
Yeah. And I'm just going to add too, I've been doing with a lot of high school programs locally and with quite a few community members here in St. Louis. We've really kind of become entrenched with the Bioscience Core Skill Institute and their micro-credentialing program. And just kind of to add on to what Brian was saying, people sign up to do the pipetting, the small volume metrology micro-credential, and they walk in there thinking they know it, and they fail the micro-credential. So it's really interesting how I guess our minds work, and we sometimes I don't know, but it's very interesting to me how people can walk into that test really confident and they end up failing, and then they're like, oh my God, what did I do? And it's just a matter of, kind of revisiting some of those tips and making sure that, your skill level is where you actually think it is. I think for me, the single most important tip on that little tip sheet is the pre-wetting the tip. And that makes, for me, the biggest difference between my good results and questionable results is if I pre-wet that tip, which is nothing more than just pipetting up and down 3 times before I expel everything and then actually pull up the volume. Even if I have, retention tips that are designed to not hold on to liquid, it still makes a big difference to do that pre-wetting step, which I never would have thought would matter. And I was doing, when I was doing 6, 7 qPCR plates a day, I was doing 10 microliter volumes for my reactions. And so you can bet I would see a difference if I had not pre-wet my tip when my total volume for my reaction is only 10 microliters. So just, humor us, I guess would be the key word here, is just humor us and just try it and see. They're kind of fun. It kind of gets you in the lab, and it just kind of makes you think about some of the things that you have really become second nature to make sure that you're doing them correctly.
But don't you think they should share too, based on, so I know when I teach PCR, anything with small volume or 96 well plates, I also have them, I share out my tips for working with 96 well plates, keeping track of what I'm doing. And then I ask my students to, because everybody is kinesthetically slightly different.
Yes.
And so it's worthwhile for everyone to share out how they keep track of the well if someone comes and talks to them, or how they know they delivered the amount. Because sometimes my students come up with better ideas than me based on their kinesthetics.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Exciting topic at dinner over wine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I will say alcohol will likely alter the pipetting competition
Oh yeah, and then
significantly.
then you can talk about how viscosity and the surface tensions and depending on the solution that you're pipetting will make
Yeah.
a difference.
Maybe now's not the time to mention that you get like drinks with dinner or before dinner at the hotel.
I don't know, maybe that'll encourage. I don't know.
Maybe. Awesome. So we do have the results back from our final poll. I am going to share those. I think I can. Oh, they just said completed. What if it's...
That was my answer with the winning lottery ticket. So if anybody would like to bring me a winning lottery ticket, that would be wonderful.
Let me share this screen. We could kind of, they're all anonymous, so it's not going to tell on anybody. But let me.
Oh, I shouldn't have told on myself. Is that what you're saying?
You can. Awesome. Give you an idea. And then our final, we're ending so quickly. We talk too fast. We need to talk slower, Betsy.
Sorry,
I
I can
have a
talk.
question that came to me, but it
Yeah.
may be better for Betsy from C. Kelly. They asked, what kind of percent error are you expecting? So Betsy, what's the acceptable range with the pipetting exercise that you
So,
have?
when I'm teaching my students in the qPCR class, and even before that, I basically tell them, and this is not by any stretch what I would hope it's better than this, is that I would like less than 10% error. Some of that is going to depend on, the quality of your pipettes, if they've been recently calibrated, other, things like the solution that you're pipetting. There are other factors to consider there, but for the most part, the pipettes that we have here are yearly calibrated. We actually can have an RTEL system. It's actually down right now, but we actually have an RTEL system where we can actually calibrate them ourselves, or at least check calibration if we need to. And so, we have a pretty robust system here that is pretty effective, that we feel confident when we say less than 10% that the students can achieve that. And so you're going to see higher error rates in those smaller volumes, right? So under 10 microliters, you're going to see a much higher, it might be more than 10%. I hope not, but a lot of that is going to depend on your pipettes and how accurate they are. And so what you can also look at then is your consistency, right? So if your pipette is off, even if you could be very accurate in what you're pipetting, and you're repeating it and you're pipetting that same amount every time. But if your pipette is off, it's going to affect the results. And so the ones that I'm going to bring to our little pipetting competition will have been calibrated. And so we'll definitely be able to assess everyone from that. So.
All right. So the final item on our agenda is questions from our participants. So if you have any questions regarding the BioRad course that we asked you to take before this, or just any other general questions about the workshop as well. So feel free to put in chat or unmute.
This is Cindy, C. Kelly.
Cindy.
Can you give me some idea of like the breakdown of the people who are coming, high school versus community college or undergrad and parts of the country? Just
we've got all of the above, actually.
Why don't we have people put that in the chat, the 11 that are here, at least Cassandra, maybe you can fill in the blanks for those that didn't make this training.
Yeah, so we've got high school, 2-year and 4-year. We also mostly professors. I think we have 1 or 2 lab techs who are coming as well. So it's going to be a very diverse group, which I think will be great.
Yeah, and I love the diversity of the groups that we have, because I think somebody teaching at a high school is going to have a slightly different perspective than somebody at a college or university is going to have. And I think that just lends to better conversations and better discussions related to all of that. And so, yeah, and so Rachel Motor High School. Okay, yeah. So I mean, I'm obviously I'm at a community college myself, and my full-time responsibilities are not teaching, but I do still teach in our program because I enjoy the teaching aspect. And so it's it's going to be fun to learn from you guys what the new thing is out there. Pawtucket High School, yeah. And all different places across the country too.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, we can end early.
Okay.
I'm always open. Just send me an email if you have any questions. If I can't answer it, I can find somebody who can.
Yeah.
I will not be in person, but Dion Krupa will be. She will be the kind of tour guide of where to go and what to do. And then, of course, Betsy is going to be leading the shenanigans everybody gets into.
Yeah.
And then Tamika's also going to be there helping out as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just going to add, we're really looking forward to having everybody come visit us in St. Louis. And I don't, you have questions about activities you can do after the workshop is over for the day. We've got lots of great places that you could go visit here in St. Louis. Highly recommend St. Louis Zoo. I will find out like what nights. It usually has a couple evenings during the week that it's open in the summer, open late. And there's, lots of other activities that if you're interested, we can point you in the direction of. And so, just come in with an open mind and learn a lot, and we'll all consider that a successful workshop. Hopefully you will too.
And I'll add, I'm so grateful for y'all to give up your time to do this. So this is awesome. If you want to give up more time and get yourself even more prepared, just remember that there's even more stuff in those Bio-Rad universities on digital droplet, and there's more advanced in the qPCR sessions. And those are good once you've gone home as well after you've done this prep, but come with questions. Betsy's been doing this for so long. She's headed off most of those questions. And if you have Bio-Rad specific questions, Tamika can either answer them or get the answers from our team. We'll be having a field application specialist, someone who helps all our customers give you a talk, but feel free to ask them questions because Frank knows everything about Droplet Digital especially, but also qPCR. And we can always get answers to your questions as well. Thank you so much. It's going to be fun.
It is. I'm looking forward to it.